this part can be very tricky and very delicate, okay? Not everybody is equipped to be that person to just be real with you, okay? Some are too eager to do that. If there's somebody that is chomping at the bit to tear you down as a person, that's not who you need to go to, okay? Pick people in your life that will be honest and help you and be there for you, but that you can say, you know what, man, so-and-so, this area, would you agree is something I struggle at? Yeah, would you pray with me? Would you help me? Would you give me some honest advice? Tell me what I need to hear, not just what I want to hear. You know, help me in this area, and God will provide those people for us and help us go along. One of the greatest figures in our life ever in biblical times had to do the same exact thing. We're going to pick up his story in just a little bit. But Exodus chapter 4, verses 10 through 16 is what we're going to focus on this morning. Everybody say Mo. We're going to talk about Moses, all right? He is, as we know, what is Moses known for? He's known for being an amazing leader. He's known for delivering the Exodus out of Egypt. He's known for almost leading people to the Promised Land. But he is known for being the man that God used, this key figure that God used to deliver a message to thousands of people, to get the people out of Egypt, the Israelites out of slavery, to lead them and guide them once they were out. He is known as one of the greatest figures in biblical times. And what's interesting that God told me about a couple weeks ago, as I was thinking about today, is he was like, man, you want to see what it's like to turn your whining into winning? You want to see what it's like to take a weakness and turn it into a strength? Look back at the beginning of Moses' time. Pick up where he is a shepherd. Different scriptures use different words. But let's just say he's an average Joe, kind of lower end of the totem pole shepherd. All right, that's how he was described as. And Moses, and this preaches right here, man, he was okay with where he was at in life. And I think that there's a major balance here. There's got to be a major balance between if you are not happy with where you're at in life, whether it's a job, whether it's family, whether it's personally, whatever. If there's an area of your life that you're not happy in, we have two huge directions that we can go with that, right? We can kind of just whine and complain and never try to improve and never make it our way up. Or we can see that as, hey, this is an opportunity to grow. I'm going to be the best shepherd in Moses' case I could possibly be and see where that takes me. Or he was kind of at a different spot. I'm going to throw this out there. I'm not going into details of the video I saw. But I saw a video the other day that just changed my life. And it was about a guy that talked about that he was talking to another individual. The other individual that was a complete stranger to him had some very rude comments about him. Long story short, he's in a nicer car, and the guy kind of basically had a comment about that was not fair or accurate or true. And this guy, instead of knocking him out, ended up talking to him and helping him. And this guy, and this is just kind of a practical thing to think about. And it challenged me as a pastor, as a man, as a husband, as a dad, all these areas of my life. And this individual that was rude to this guy, he spouted off to him, and the guy ends up talking to him, just saying, hey man, you know what? You don't know me. You don't know my background. You don't know what got me to where I'm at today. But if you're willing to listen, I can share that with you. And I think we'll see that I'm not what you're painting me to be, just off of your comment. And so he ends up doing this, and he ends up helping this guy. Well, this guy, and the man in the video that helps the guy, he made this comment. And now it wasn't from a Christian standpoint, but when he said the world, he said, I tell you what, man, he goes, you know what changed my life? You know what turned things around for me? Abuse, rough upbringing, all these things he mentions in the video to this guy that he went through, that just to look at him right now, you would never think he's been through that or had that hard of a life. He says, when I finally understood and grasped, this world doesn't owe me a thing. This world owes me nothing. I used to think I was entitled and enabled, and the world owes me this, and this and this and this and this. He goes, when I finally realized I owe the world everything, I owe the world the best me I can possibly be. And for us, let's take that world, let's take God. Man, God, He has already done everything He can do for us. We owe Him our lives. We owe Him our strength. We owe Him our weaknesses. We owe Him everything in us, and just to be an ultimate servant, just to say, God, I want to be used by you in a great and mighty way. To turn our whining into winning, though, man, whining is a lot easier, isn't it? I mean, if we're being really honest. But God, I don't like this situation. Oh God, this person wants me to do more. This person they want me to da. it's so easy to get caught up in that where God's like, you know what, why don't you take where you're at in life right now and you make that the best situation you possibly can, and I got your back, and I'll take care of you. And in this case, this particular person said, well, I'm looking for a job, and I want to be this position. And this guy asked him, he said, I'll tell you what, you want to be that position, how much experience do you have at that position? Like a management position, let's say, right? In a particular field. He said, how much experience do you have as a manager in this area? Well, none. He says, okay, I got you, man. He goes, well, how many books have you read on how to be the best manager? How many seminars have you got? How much training have you sought out? How much have you done? Well, none. He goes, so let me get this straight. You're coming up into these companies, applying for these jobs like they owe you a management position, rather than coming in there and saying, you know what, can I just get my foot in the door? I want to learn, I want to work hard, and I owe this company to be the best me I can be, and if it's your will to be a manager, I'll be a manager. He goes, think about that. When you get rid of this you owe me attitude into I'm going to do everything I can attitude, your life has changed. And that's what kind of led me to this whining into winning, man. When we start to realize, man, God, you have done so much for me, and you can take my weak areas, and you can take my areas that maybe I don't feel as confident or as strong in, and you can turn those into strengths. And I'm just going to take where I'm at now. Moses was one of the lowest positions possible. And we know the full story, right? But Moses didn't know the full story at the time. When he experiences the burning bush, he's just like, hey, I'm a shepherd. I got a speech impediment. I can't really talk well. I'm good where I'm at. And God's like, dude, does God say dude? I don't know. We'll argue about that later, okay? But God says, Mo, I have so much more in store for you. If you will not be okay where you're at, but yet, or not okay with staying where you're at, but be okay with where you're at, work hard where you're at, I've got you. I'm going to take care of you. We talked last week at the closing program about faith like a child. And why can a child give so generously and so excitedly? And why can a child, they don't have a care in the world. They don't got to worry about enough time to do this or enough money to do that. But God's like, hey, I've set that up for you too. If you'll give it all to me, if you'll put your faith, your trust, your hope, everything of you into me, I've got you. You'll be okay. I'll take care of you. So Moses, who's okay, we're going to pick up the story. If you guys want to turn to Exodus chapter 4, we're going to look at verses 10 through 16. And I fast forward to this specific part because this is where he's been talking to this burning bush. He's been talking to God. He's made every excuse possible up to this point. But at this specific moment, he addresses his weakness. He addresses, okay, all right, I've already talked about, well, who am I going to say sent me? I've already talked about God. Who am I to be this person? I've already given up 45 different reasons not to go. Now he's going to say, okay, Lord, well, here's really what it is. Moses said to the Lord, verse 10, pardon your servant, Lord. I have never been eloquent, neither in the past nor since you have spoken to your servant. I am slow of speech and tongue. He had a speech impediment. Maybe he stuttered. Maybe he just got really nervous in front of people. Whatever it was, he did not feel like he could literally say the words as fluently and speak. Think about it. God was telling him to go up to the Pharaoh, the highest leader of the land, and tell them. And then, think about this, not just to address the Pharaoh, but then he's like, okay, then you're going to have to address crowds of thousands of Israelites and address them and lead them. And so Moses is like, dude, I can't hardly get 3 words out, and you want me to go into the highest leader and speak eloquently enough to get him to let your people go, and then give speeches in front of thousands of people when I stutter, whatever. There's no way I can do it. He's whining about his weakness. He's giving into his weakness of why he can't do it. The Lord said to him, oh man, as a parent, I wish I could say this kind of stuff sometimes, but I don't think of it quick enough. But can you imagine as Moses saying, God, I have a speech impediment. I can't do it. I can't talk good enough, well enough to do what you're calling me to do. And this is what God says. Who gave human beings their mouths? It's like, ugh, okay, gotcha. All right. Who gave human beings their mouths? Who makes them deaf and mute? Who gives them sight or makes them blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now go. I will help you speak and will teach you what to say. This part of the story is one of my favorite parts in the whole journey of Moses, because this right here gives us a promise from God's word. What God is telling Moses is this. Nate's terms, I got your back, Moses. God's telling him, I got your back. You think I don't know that you have a speech issue? You think I don't know that there's 10,000 reasons why you can't do what I'm telling you to do? You think I forgot? Oh, dang it, I picked Moses. I meant Joseph, or whatever. Like, I didn't mean him. No, I handpicked you, Moses, to do what I'm calling you to do. Therefore, I've got your back. I'm taking care of all this. If you'll just put your faith and trust in me and be obedient, man, parents, if our kids would just listen the first time. A 4-year-old told me this morning I need to be patient, all right? So we can learn from them too, okay? So then it's a lesson of, well, Grace, there's a time to be patient, there's a time to hurry, or I'm going to be like, okay, so come on. But if people would just listen, man, if all these things, in this case, God's like, Moses, I already know all this, I got you. So he tells him, I will give you what to say, I will take care of you, you can do this. And then Moses, man, he uses this P word again. I would just get fed up with this. God is better than I. But Moses said, pardon your servant. I'm be like, stop saying pardon your servant. All right, Dad, I got you. You're making more excuses. Thanks, baby. Thank you. Pardon your servant, Lord. Please send someone else. At this point, Moses is done with excuses. He's done lying. He's done complaining. At this point, he's finally like, okay, Lord, just send somebody else. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. Then the Lord's anger burned against Moses, and he said, what about your brother Aaron the Levite? I know he can speak well. He is already on his way to meet you, and he will be glad to see you. You shall speak to him and put words in his mouth. I will help both of you speak and will teach you what to do. He will speak to the people for you, and it will be as if it were your mouth and as if you were God to him. Again, God doesn't just say, forget you, Moses. You still don't get it? I'm done with you. He literally says, you know what? Okay, I'm going to provide you an aid. I'm going to provide you help. A person to speak on your behalf. I'll give you the words to say in your spirit. You get those to Aaron, and he will be the one to share. Now, the reason why I wanted to focus on this part of Moses' story, as we're talking about weaknesses and the strengths, taking our whining into winning, is because if you fast forward over the next 30, 40 chapters, over the next many, many years, to think of Moses going from I can't do it and having a helper in there, to think about, read through the Exodus, read through Deuteronomy, read through the Old Testament of Moses' story, and he ends up doing speeches. One of his strongest points of leadership is communication to the Israelites. And God literally takes that weakness of I can't do it, I stutter, I whatever, and turns into one of his greatest strengths over the course of his life and over his ministry. And the reason why was because at least then Moses was willing to go and get started, and over time, willing to let God work on his heart, work on his gift. And I'll tell you this, over time, Moses' trust and his faith, it grew stronger and stronger and stronger. And before you know it, one of his greatest weaknesses was one of his greatest strengths. And he was able to communicate and to share and do all this with all these people. I could not help but think how many times I've been Moses, man. I got 45 reasons not to do this. God, you want to know one of the reasons, and I've been told this for a long time, one of the reasons why, the main reason people say, some of them say this as out of disrespect, some of them say this as a true compliment. But from the age of 19 to 33, I've always been told, hey, you work great with kids and youth because you're just like them. Some people mean that in a immature, not great way, okay? And some people mean, oh, you can really relate to them. I tell you, when I felt called to lead adults and step into this role, I said, Lord, I work great with teens because I'm a little more whatever, this or that. Is that going to train? How's that going to train? God's like, I got you. I'll take care of you. I had a teacher in college, and this is what I'm asking all of us to do. This is someone that spoke into my life. When I was in school, I was 19, 20 years old. They knew I was at a small college. They knew I was called to ministry. And I had a professor that called me into his office. Now, he was like a mentor to me. He was one of the church ministry teachers, and I looked up to him a lot. He called me into the office. He said, "Nate, I tell you what." He goes, "I just need to be honest with you." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm going to talk to you about your future ministry. I know you're called to be a youth pastor. You're called to be in ministry, and I've just got to share this with you." He said, "There's 2 areas of your ministry I want to address." And I was like, "All right." Smart man, very smart teacher. He started with the positive, right? He's like, "I tell you what, in area 1, and I'm not going to tell you all what these areas are, you'll hold me against me, okay? But in area 1, he's like, you are going to excel. In this category of ministry, of church life, of work, of being a pastor," he said, "this area, man, God has shown favor on you. These are some of your gifts, your skills, you're good at this." Now, I'm 19, 20 years old, and I'm like, yeah, come on, keep coming, you know, keep going. And he's like, this area of ministry, you are going to go great places, do great things. You excel in this. And I'm like, oh, thanks. He goes, but, always a but. You know, the teacher don't call you to the office to pump you up and send you out, right? So he says, but let me tell you about area number 2 that I've seen you struggle in. In this category of life, of ministry, of a career, of a job, he said, if you don't turn this area around, he said, let me tell you this, as great as area number 1 is going to be in your ministry, and as great as you could be because of these skills that God's given you, the personality God's given you, the gifts God's given you, whatever, and number 1 that could be so great, he goes, if you don't work on number 2, if you don't turn it around, number 1 will never be nearly as great as it could be, as in your whole entire ministry. He goes, you'll never stay on to a church. You'll jump around from church to church, or you might not even get hired on, or whatever. He goes, if you don't work on this area that you don't like as much, or that you struggle with more than this other area, he said, your ministry will never go where it can go. And it took him telling me that and showing me this area of weakness. I'm like, oh man, what is that area? I would not tell you. Because I've taken that area and I've worked on it. I said, man, you're right. That got me through college. That was the next part. And if you don't work on this area, you ain't going to get a degree and be able to get going anyway. So you've got to work on this area. And so I was able to take that weakness and turn it into a strength and to begin to focus on that and work on that. And without that, without all the potential in the world God has given you as a Christ follower and as someone to reach the lost and to do what God has called you to do, there's no way we can be the complete package that God has called us to be if all we do is what we like to do or we're good at or what we like to focus on. God's like, hey, there's other areas of your life that you've got to work on. There was a hurdler, a sprinter in the London Olympics who, before the games, I read this article about it, before the games, his time was really not what it needed to be. And he got some good advice and he figured it out that the foot he would start with was really strong. Say it was his right foot. But his left foot, what he needed to really get through those hurdles, was too weak and it was slowing him down. And so he took his last however long of training right before the Olympics to work on just his weakest foot. And it turned out to be one of his stronger feet. And he would start with that one. And then both were so strong that he won gold medal. And he said, if I would not have strengthened my weak foot and made it actually my number 1 foot, I would have never been able to do this. And so that's just a good, easy way to see you can take your weak areas. Moses, he took the things that were going to keep him from going where God called him to go, and ended up God using them to reach more people than he ever imagined. I want to tell you this story as well. And before I tell you this, I'm going to set up what we're going to do here in just a little bit. And I just really want everyone to be honest with yourself. When we're talking about whining, we're talking about weaknesses, it's easy to think, man, so-and-so, they are weak here. So-and-so, they really need to work on this. God is telling us today to just focus on me, not Nate. You focus on you, Nate focus on Nate, okay? And I'm going to ask y'all now, as we hear this final story and as we're going to sing a song, it's going to be a special moment. I'm asking you guys to begin to ask God to show you, God, what areas do I need to turn into strengths? What areas are weak? What do I whine about? What do I complain about? What are you calling me to do more about? And then to ask Him to give you that strength. And where does that start? How do you begin turning your whining into winning? How do you begin turning your weakness into strength? Man, it begins up here in your seat, wherever you got to go, just on your face before God, being honest. And saying, Lord, I don't understand this journey you want to take me on. Lord, I don't like this journey that you're taking me on, but I'm willing to go. And I'm willing to work on these things that you're telling me I need to work on. And He'll begin to show you those things and work on them. This reminds me of a story I read. I'm not really into martial arts. I've never really been in one, so if I mess some of these words up, forgive me. But I read about a young man, but based on the story, I'd say he's probably early teens, young kid that wanted to become a judo fighter. But the thing with this judo fighter was, this young man, he only had one arm. True story. Only had one arm, but he had a passion in his heart to become a judo fighter, to do jiu-jitsu, and to enter tournaments and to fight. And so his parents, whoever, I don't know where this was, but they supported it. They said, go for it. And they connected him with a sensei, with a teacher. And they said, will you train our son to be a jiu-jitsu fighter? And the teacher, first of all, kudos to this teacher, because he didn't look at him and say, oh, that's, I don't know, he only has one arm. He took this student on and said, I got you. I would love to do that. And so he begins to train this one-arm jiu-jitsu fighter to enter this big tournament in their area. And every day, it's kind of reminded me of the old school karate kid, waxing on, waxing. Why am I waxing the car and not learning this, Jiu-jitsu's know best. That's what I'm learning, okay? I guess according to the moves. But so this jiu-jitsu is teaching this kid one move over and over and over again. And after like a month or two of training, it's getting closer to the time for this huge jiu-jitsu tournament. And this kid is like, jiu-jitsu, whew, I love working for you. Thank you for bringing me on. But he's basically like, what are we doing? He's like, I've been here however long. We've only been working on one move. He's like, I need some more tools on my belt. The tournament's coming up. What are we doing? And the jiu-jitsu refused. The sensei refused to do anything else. He said, no, we're going, you keep doing what I'm telling you to do. You keep working on what I'm telling you to work on. And I got you. Now, the reason this story is so good for today is because that's what I'm asking all of us to do. This student had to say, you know what, I don't agree with it. I don't like it, but I'm going to, to trust authority here. You're the teacher, you're the sensei, I'm going to trust you, and I'm just going to do what you tell me to do. I don't think it's working. I don't see how it's going to work. I don't like it, but I'm just going to listen and do it. So he continued to train and continued to train, and this sensei only had him work on one move over and over and over again. Well, now it comes time for the tournament. And so the young man, he only has one arm, he enters this tournament. He goes up there, and the first fight, he fights this kid, and he ends up, boom, this opens up, this one move, boom, pins it down, wins, however, whatever. And he's like, oh, okay, I got this. So then the next fight comes, a little tougher, takes a little bit longer to implement the one move, but then all of a sudden, boom, it opens up, does it 2, 3, 4 fights, it gets tougher and tougher and tougher. And after 3 or 4 fights, he's getting to like the semifinals, and he's like really freaking out, okay? And he comes to the sensei, and he's like, Sensei, okay, this one move's got me so far right now, but he's like, there's no way, I'm getting closer and closer to losing. And this is all the sensei kept telling him. Focus on the opportunity and do the move. Focus, focus, focus. Keep doing what you've been doing. God is telling some of us, man, just stop whining about where you're at. Stop complaining about what you don't have. Stop complaining about your weak areas. Focus on me. Work hard. Spend your time with me. I got you. And so this kid enters the semifinals and gets really down to the wire, really close. Boom, true story, ends up winning. Gets to the championship. So now he's kind of like, okay, Sensei, maybe you do know what you're talking about, you're doing this. Long story short, man, he gets through the finals and he wins this tournament. He wins this tournament in the area, one-armed judo fighter. And he wins. And he comes, as you can imagine, it's just a huge story and what an inspiration, awesome, awesome, awesome. But he comes, and I wanted to read this answer to you directly. And he comes to his sensei, and he says, Sensei, how in the world did I just win the biggest tournament in our area with one move and one arm? Like, what in the world? How did this work? How did you know? Can you imagine the look on his face? Like, how did you know this would get me there? And the sensei says this. He says, you won for 2 reasons, the sensei answered. First, you've almost mastered one of the most difficult throws in all of judo. So that one move was like one of the hardest ones to do, and that's all he focused on to do. And second, the only known defense for that move is for your opponent to grip your left arm. So think about that, man. I was like, wow. He didn't even tell the kid that. The kid didn't know it. He's just doing the one move over and over and over. And the only thing, if he was able to implement that hard move, the only thing they could do was to grab something that wasn't there. He took his weakness and turned it into a strength that got him through an entire tournament and won the entire thing. And I just got so convicted, and you guys can come on up, man. We're about to do something super powerful. I got so convicted because I'm like, God, I am so tired of being a man. I told you we have to focus on ourselves. That's what I did. So I'm so tired of being a man that would have focused on the lack of an arm, the lack of faith and trust in that sensei. Why am I keep doing this? When you, who is the sensei, when God, through the burning bush to Moses, when Lecrae talks about taking his bitterness and making it better, all these things, it takes people willing to say, okay, God, I see no arm as a weakness. man, you see it as a strength. You see it as a way that I can do things that I could never, ever even imagine. We're about to sing about, I can only imagine what it would look like, what it's going to be like when we experience God and when we experience heaven like never before. But I want us to take this song, and I'm going to invite you, man, be bold, be brave. Come up and pray in your seat, grab somebody to pray with you, do whatever you have to do. But some of us in here need to stop focusing on what we don't have, stop focusing on our weak areas. Man, if I had more of this or more of that, no, God's saying, why don't you focus on what I've given you, what you have, and focus on me to take your weaknesses and turn them into strengths. And to be able to go to do great things that you could never even imagine. I went through a long time in my life where I wish I knew my whole plan. I wish I knew my whole story. I wish I knew how it was going to work out. But I know now for a fact that if I would have known what God was going to do through my life, I would have screwed it all up. And I would have messed it all up. So that's why God He doesn't show us everything, but He just says, stay faithful. Look at what Moses did. Look at what many, many people in the Bible did. Look at what many people have done in your own life. Turn your whining into winning, and I will take you from there.
Only what my eyes will see when your face is before me. I can only imagine.
It's too easy to say this right now, but I can't imagine what it would be like, man, for God just to explode in our lives and just take our weakest areas and turn them into strengths, and to take our areas that we feel like we're inadequate, we can't do it. Before you know it, man, God is using us in that area like never, ever, ever before. Absolute perfect timing for TD to make his debut singing for us today, man. That was just awesome, awesome, awesome to hear him do that. It's okay. Crazy timing too. I text, you guys know Melanie Holcomb, Josh Melanie. They're in Louisiana in the World Series for the 600 right now, man. And I texted Melanie about their games yesterday, and they lost for the first time. They lost to Mississippi. Damn good Mississippi. But they lost, and what she said told me in the text, I was like, she didn't even know what I'm preaching about today. She texted me this morning and said, there was a part that we weren't prepared for. We didn't know that, I guess you could do this, or is it stealing bases? She's like, I didn't know 6-year-olds were allowed to steal, okay? But she said in the text, we didn't know, but man, we are ready today for this new aspect that we weren't prepared for. And so they took an area that caused them to lose, and I bet you, I'd love to tell you, she just texted me and they stole 1,700 bases and turned that lose into a straight to 1. Maybe, I don't know yet, okay? But she said, now that we know, we are on it. We got this. And I thought, wow, God is telling us, as He shows you that weakness, as He shows you that area to work on, He's got you. Take care of it. Do what you got to do. You guys are dismissed. Go out. Have a great week. Man, your family matters. We're going to reach it, whatever it takes. Just don't ever forget that. Peace out. Sucks, man. One more person.
Thank you. What? We do this almost every week.